it's Maureen Chana here, and welcome to my channel and Happy New Year. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. Click on the subscribe button below and also click on the bell sign so that anytime I upload a video, you get a notification. Right, it's that time of year again where everyone is making a New Year's resolution. I don't know if you've made yours, but you see, the interesting thing is 93% of people that make New Year's resolutions don't do it. They don't achieve it. The question though is why? And that's what I want to talk to you today about. Because a few years ago, when I discovered the power of the brain, that's one of the questions I started asking myself. Why don't people achieve their goals? Why don't people, achieve their New Year's resolutions? Why is it that people make these intentions or have these intentions but end up not really achieving them? And they start off so well. You know what? The gym is a typical example. The amount of people that start off going to the gym at the beginning of the year, and by February, it's all gone. So, and I just got so fascinated with why, the why. Why does it happen? What I found out was quite interesting. The key is to change making resolutions to commitments. It's finding out what it is that you are really passionate about. For example, if you want to lose weight, why? Why do you want to lose weight? Whatever goal that you're setting, and a New Year's resolution is a goal, because a lot of times when we talk about goal setting, people kind of think, no, that's not for me. But every one of us needs to set goals, and every one of us, we do most of the time, but we kind of do it so flippantly. And that's why it's so important to really be committed to setting goals. If you really want to be successful in what you're doing, you've got to set goals, and you've got to set meaningful goals. So I'm going to go through quite a series on this. But today I'm going to start off by looking at purpose. Growing up, one of the things I kept asking myself is, what's my purpose? You know how in the Bible it talks about, I'm wonderfully and beautifully made? There's a place in the Bible where it says that God has set me apart for his glory. So there's a purpose to me being here. The question is, what is it? How do I find out what it is? My Nigerian name is Chinyere, which means God's gift. And you know what? The fact is that we are all gifts to the world. You are a gift to the world. You are unique in your own right. You are wonderfully and beautifully made. There's a reason why you are on this planet. There are people who you are meant to be helping. There are people who you're meant to bring joy and happiness to their lives. The fact is that this world needs the gift that you bring to it. But the question then is, are you doing what you should be doing? Or have you settled into a comfort place that is, well, it's safe. It's okay. Talking about safe, it's one of the things that really got me so fascinated when, I always have this with me, when I discovered the power of the brain. The brain's function really is to keep us safe. So anything that the brain doesn't understand, it sees as a threat. And Evian Gordon said it right. He said, what the brain is doing is that it's trying to minimize risks and maximize rewards. So anything that it perceives as a risk, it will fight against. And how does it do that? By making you afraid, anxious, worried, with all those thoughts that will be going around your head. You know, the if onlys, should onlys. The question is, how many of those statements have you actually made today? These are the statements the brain uses to keep you away from actually doing what you should be doing, because it's trying to keep you safe. And you see, a lot of times I come across people in the work I do that are just not happy. And the fact is, until you're doing something that is fulfilling, until you're working in that place God has created for you to work in, you will not be happy. You will not be content. You will keep looking and searching. And there's something I always ask people: whose life are you living? Are you living your own life, or are you living somebody else's life? Are you living the life people are expecting you to live, or people are telling you to live? Or are you living your own life? One thing that I'm so conscious of is staying in my own lane. Everyone has their lanes, but it's so important to stay in your own lane. What's my path? Where am I going? And the fact is, if you don't know where you're going, you will never get there. And that's why this series on goal setting or goal achievement is so important, because you don't want to be roaming around the world, not knowing which way to go, but kind of just going with the flow. This life is a journey. So it's so important that you spend it doing things that you love, things that you're passionate about, things that will bring you joy and fulfillment. And how can you do that? So finding your passion and purpose is so important, because it gives your life a direction. To be able to achieve your goals, you first of all need to understand what your purpose and passion is. I work with a lot of leaders, and it's so important to understand what your goal is. What is it you want to achieve? But you know something? If you are pursuing a goal that is not aligned with your purpose, even if you achieve that goal, you will still not be fulfilled. And that's why it's so important to actually understand first and foremost what your purpose is, what you're passionate about. Purpose and passion are quite different. But the fact is that whatever your purpose is, you will have a passion for it. You'll be passionate about what your purpose is, but find out what that purpose is, and I'm going to help you do that today. So your passion is that inner energy that drives you. If I ask you, who are you? How would you answer that? A lot of people would tell me, I'm a teacher, I'm a mother, I'm a daughter, but that's not really who you are. That's actually the role you're playing. Who are you? Because that is what gives meaning to who you are. Because as a wife, what if suddenly you're not a wife, you're going through a divorce, or something happens? Then that's your identity gone? It's so important for you to recognize who you are, because that's what will give your life meaning. That's exactly what will give you your identity. I really believe things happen for a reason, and we're here for a reason. When I lost my mom, I was devastated, because I lost my mom at a critical time of my life, when I was going through a really tough time, and I'll talk to you about that some other time. It made me reevaluate my life and make the decision to live my life on purpose and enjoy this life's journey. It made me actually really identify myself as a child of God. And the question was, so who does God say I am? Most times when we set goals, life happens, challenges come, problems come, and that's why when these things come, a lot of people then deviate, stop, take a detour, take a different route, and that's why a lot of people set goals and don't achieve them, of which the New Year's resolution is the main one. So, as for an organization, purpose as well is the key to unlocking the meaning of your business. What is the core purpose of your business? A lot of people, a lot of organizations have people working in them that don't actually know what the value is. Yes, they can reel off the mission statement and say all that, but they don't really understand what the core value of the organization is. So, as an individual and as a business, even as an entrepreneur, you need to understand what your purpose is and what the purpose of your business organization is as well. The fact is that it's having that clarity of purpose, having the focus that will enable you achieve success in your business. Having those innovative insights would also enable you achieve great success in your business. So the question then is, to achieve your purpose and passion, how do you do it? The fact is that a lot of times when we're going about life, a lot of people end up just going about life based, like I said, based on what other people are expecting you to do. So you're making decisions based on the needs and wants of other people and forgetting your own self or value, forgetting your own identity and, and purpose in that process. So planning is so important, because if you don't have a plan, you have nowhere to go. You rather, when you get there, you won't even know you've arrived there. So planning is so critical, important to where you're going. And one of the things you need to do is to ask yourself questions. Who do you want to be? What kind of relationships do you want to have? What do you want to achieve out of life? What would make you happy? What would you be doing that will make you feel happy? How much money do you want? What kind of life do you want to live? With these questions, one of the things that really works is visualizing it. Now, some people have vision boards, and vision boards are really good. The main reason why vision boards are really effective is that when you put what you want on a vision board and you can look at it every day and confess into that thing that you desire, you would achieve it. You know why? Now, two things, and I'm going to explain here what the Bible says and what science is now showing us. Now, science shows us that when you imagine something, that it activates the right part of your prefrontal cortex, which is the frontal part of the brain. It activates the right prefrontal cortex, which then enables you come up with ideas of how to achieve those things. Now, for example, even just imagining that you're playing the piano activates the motor parts in your brain that when you get to play the piano, you're actually doing much better than before. And that's why athletes, before they actually go on a race, they visualize winning the race, because the imagination in the brain is so powerful that it then brings about the action. But I'm going to look at imagination in detail later. But now, scripture also says, your faith is believing in what you don't see. And the Bible also tells us to ask and then believe, and we will receive. And the Bible also tells us to confess, so that when we want something, we are confessing what we want, and that is speaking. And when we speak, information is going back into our ears and into our brain, which then activates those specific parts of the brain that will enable us take the actions we need to achieve it. It will also enable the cognitive part of the brain, the prefrontal cortex, to be alert to opportunities relating to what we are desiring. When you don't have that imagination in your brain, when the opportunity comes, you might even miss it. But when you are alert to it because you're imagining it, so you have the vision board, or you have a desire that you want, and you look, in the morning you come up, you look at it, you confess it, you talk about it, the actions you're going to take, you do the same thing at night. What you're doing is repetition, and repetition wires the brain. And it's the wiring that brings about the beliefs and then the actions and behavior patterns and habits that will lead you to achieve what you want. Research now shows us that people that have a passion and purpose know where they're going. It's that roadmap. Because without it, you go anywhere. In this climate now, there's so much noise. There's so much going on. And if you're not careful to understand exactly where you're going, you won't know which marketing avenue to use as a business person. Or, in your career, if you don't know what your purpose or passion is, you won't know where to go. You might end up, being in a job that you hate, or being in a job that you're hating so much because you don't actually realize that place you are will help you achieve or get to where you want to be. I'll give you an example. I've got a friend that has just graduated as a doctor, and she's working somewhere where she's just constantly complaining because, one, they're understaffed. Sometimes they're working, the shifts are very long. And I said, that's the wrong attitude. Change the thought process and embrace it as an opportunity to learn so much. So to be fully happy, you need to be able to know what your passion and purpose is, and take actions to achieve them. So we're going to stop here today, and we're going to carry on. Watch out for the next video as we carry on with this series of establishing our goal achievement. Now we've just looked at your passion and purpose, how to find out what your passion and purpose is, and we'll carry on with this and get into the nitty-gritty of setting goals the right way. And don't forget, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe on the button below and click the bell sign to be notified for when new videos are uploaded. Also, please write comments in the comment section. And if you've got any questions or any topic that you want me to talk about as well, please put it down in the comment section. And I'll see you again soon. Bye.